Hello, hello, hello. Gonna do some standard best of one today, and I have chosen a deck that I think this is the best deck that you don't see played against you. And let me explain why. So this is a Naya Legends deck, so it's green, white, and red. You might have seen a Legends deck using blue, black, and white, the Esper one. That's pretty popular, and it's got some similar cards in. Like you'll see Skrelv in that deck, you'll see Thalia, you might see some Cathars. The difference is that we've got Jetmir in these colours, and we can use Adeline and Squee that make a lot of tokens, and that will pump up your Jetmir. So Jetmir is a creature where the more creatures you have in play, the more powerful its effect is. So if you get 3 or more creatures, everything gets +1 power and vigilance. If you get 6 or more, everything gets another +1 power and trample. And if you've got 9 or more creatures, everything gets +1 power, another +1 power and double strike. Now, we're not really aiming for the 9 creatures because in my experience with Jetmir, if you've got 3 or 6 creatures in play, then the Jetmir is enough to win. So I think it's actually a bit of a bait to go for the full 9. We just want to go for the 3 or the 6 and make an attack that's just so strong with vigilance and trample that either your opponent is going to lose from your attack, or you're just going to do so much damage to them, your creatures have got vigilance, and then you're going to be able to block their attack and win the next turn anyway. Now, the downside to creatures like this, like Jetmir, is that they can, if your opponent kills them, it can kind of blow you out in combat. But that's one of the secondary powers of this deck, is that we've got a ton of creatures with protection abilities. So we've got Hajar. This is from a couple of sets ago. You can sack it, and all of your legendary creatures get +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn, so you can protect your other creatures. Thalia is going to make their removal spells more expensive, and then from the most recent set, we've got Skrelv that you might have seen before. We can use that to protect one particular creature, or we've got Malira that we can also use to protect. Now, we're not only going to use those effects to protect Jetmir. We might want to protect our Cathars. We might want to protect our other token makers. And then we've just got these Hopeful Initiates and the Recruitment Officers as 1 mana value creatures that can still attack for a decent amount, but just to make sure that we're curving out from the start of the game. Now, a third payoff to playing legendaries, well, third and fourth payoff really, are the 2 sets of lands that you get to play. So we've got the Plaza here, which really helps cast your spells in the first place, and then secondary can also protect your creatures with the Plaza, and then you've got the legendary lands. So most decks that you see in standard will play probably 1 copy of each of the legendary lands, maybe 2 at a push, of each of the legendary lands that are in their colours. But because you are playing so many legendaries in a deck like this, you can actually get away with playing more than 1, and you can really utilise them because you make use of the discount. So this ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So this allows us to use, on top of Cathar, which is a creature, we've got these Iganjos, which are lands. So 8 removal spells in the deck that don't get taxed by Thalia, and most of our opponents' removal spells are going to be getting taxed by Thalia's, and that's one of the major plus points to decks like this. So yeah, let's play some games and see if we can slay with Jetmir. Let's go. All right, first game. We got good lands, and we've got I wouldn't say a good curve, but we've got the start of a good curve at least. So let's see if we can keep it going after the Thalia. Start Skrelv. Even though Skrelv is legendary, it's okay to keep hands with 2 Skrelvs, because your Skrelv is your protection creature, right? Or one of them. So it will, if your opponent has removal spells, your Skrelv will probably be your first creature that dies anyway, so then you will be able to get that second one down. And I mean, if they don't kill your Skrelv, then you're just going off, aren't you? So it doesn't really matter too much. So we'll hold back the Skrelv in case they have a removal spell for Thalia, because Skrelv has to tap to use its ability. Jetmir is quite a good draw. It would be, if we can find a third creature to cast next turn before the Jetmir, that'll be really good. One thing to note about the Jetmir is that with the 3 or more creatures you get Vigilance, right? So that would let you actually attack with the Skrelv and keep its ability up. So if we want to do that. For now, just get in with Thalia. Another thing to note is with the 4 copies of Iganjo, you want to, well, if you have to, you play the first one as a land, but then you can probably want to be holding the other ones in your hand to make sure that you can use them as removal spells, because they are legendary lands, so you will have to sacrifice one if you try and play a second. Okay, there's Melira to protect our creatures, but we'll go straight into the Jetmir first. And we can attack with Skrelv now. So now we've got Thalia attacks protecting Jetmir and Skrelv available to protect it as well. And you can see that we've got 11 power in play. It's pretty good. We've also got a Plaza that we could maybe use to protect it too. Need to be able to hold up mana for that one though. Skrelv we can just pay 2 life to use. Even this early in the game, opponent is in big trouble here. It's just so hard to get past all of our protection and get towards our beefier creatures. This single target removal is not going to work for them. They're going to have to use some sort of board wipe. Which they did have. Okay. So they get Brotherhood's End. So here we can play. We want to play both of the creatures first, because that will get us to 3 creatures, and it will give our Jetmir Vigilance here. Vigilance and 6 damage. Skrelv has Summoning Sickness, so we need to wait a turn to be able to use its ability, but Melira doesn't. So if they try and remove the Jetmir here, we can sacrifice the Melira to protect it. Or not sacrifice, we can exile the Melira to protect it. Okay, there's Portal to Phyrexia. Sacrifice the Melira. Protect the Jetmir. It dies, and then it comes back. And that's game over. Easy as that. Yeah, you can see, even, I mean, they just had Brotherhood's End into Portal Phyrexia. The Jetmir is still on the board. Alright, let's go next. Alright, game 2. We got 2 Meliras. No 1-drop. I'm a bit suspicious of, but on the play, we do have good mana. We've got Cathar, we've got Thalia. I'm always a bit sus of keeping hands without 1-drops, especially when you play this many of them, right? But of all the non-1-drop hands, this has got to be one of the better ones. Okay, start with Melira or Thalia. Against soldiers, I guess we can just start with our 3/3. Thalia's not going to be taxing too much of their deck. And if they have a removal spell, we want it to be used on Melira, right? Because it's a legend, we've got a second copy. Melira can also protect our Cathar next turn too. Better than Thalia would be able to, against soldiers specifically anyway. I guess the Siege Veteran, okay, Siege Veteran would be a reason to play Thalia, because Thalia would still be able to block here. But I guess not blocking and then attacking is also good. Let's take the Veteran and then we'll attack for 3. Having this many Iganjos is actually really good with the Cathars too, because it makes it not quite as much of a tempo loss, or not quite as expensive for us to just kind of pass the turn, right, and then go to Knight with the Cathar. Then you can hold up the Eiganjo, you can use the Eiganjo, and then when you untap, you can try and play 2 creatures, flip your Cathar again, maybe eat another creature. Which, to be honest, we might do here. Jetmir would make us want to play the Eiganjo as a land, though. It would give us vigilance. The Cathar still wouldn't be able to attack, though. 3/3 first striker's such a good blocker as well. I think maybe this is an opportunity to actually pass. Yeah, let's try it. If they double block Malira here, then I'll just play a creature out, but probably they won't, and then we can pass with their 3/3 first striker, holding up Eiganjo. We would need to draw, if we do use the Eiganjo as for its activated ability, I will have to draw a land to actually get 2 spells down, but that should be okay. Let's see what they do. We've got Malira to protect this Cathar as well. They go Veteran, okay. Okay, so we didn't have to use the Eiganjo, which is good. Here's Skrelv. Okay, fine. Go Skrelv, Thalia. Still hold this Eiganjo. Just keep it for now. If we have to play it as a land to get Jetmir down at some point, we will, but there's not really any benefit to doing it now. It's not stopping us casting any spells that we want to cast, for example. There is a planes that we can use. Now my rel is spooky. Spooky, spooky, spooky. I mean, it's quite hard for them to attack with my rel, though. I think we actually should pass again. While we've got this Cathar, I think we should be abusing it as much as we can. Let's see if we can. So if they attack with my rel, they're going to make a lot of tokens, but they will lose their my rel to our first strike creatures. Then we're going to flip the Cathar because they just cast 2 spells. So let's block with the first strikers. We can Eiganjo the Thalia. And then when our Cathar flips again, we can eat the Valiant Veteran. These creatures are much smaller now, which is good. What type of kind of attacks do they have? Nothing too crazy. I guess we can actually go Adeline now. Go Adeline, make a token. We can set up for our Jetmir next turn. Our Jetmir, hopefully we can get enough creatures going that it's going to have trample. Let's attack with Thalia. Because If we have trampo next turn, then these tokens are not going to matter too much. So I think we're only dead to Harbin and maybe another one of the Valiant Veterans, but other than that, we should be able to get our big Jetmir turned down. We've worked hard for it. Okay, Officer is great, but fine. They can still find Blue Land Harbin. But if they have to tap, like... Yeah, I think at this point, even if they have Blue Land Harbin, I'm not sure they have enough creatures left untapped to actually have lethal. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah. And next turn, our Jetmir is huge. We're gonna have 8 creatures next turn probably, which is one off having the double strike, but it is still a huge attack. Let's go with the Jetmir. Our Cathar has 3 creatures on it, so we can only really attack with Cathar if it is lethal. Gonna have to do some serious maths here. Okay. So Adeline is gonna make a token, which is a 3/1, which gives us 10, 16, 23, 7, 32 damage. Wait, did I count that right? That sounds like a lot. 5, 9, 12, 16. Right, reset. 9, 12, 16, 19, plus another 3, 22, plus Adeline will be 10, 32. 32 trample damage. And they have 3, 6, 9... They've got 20 life, essentially. Okay, well, unless I'm sorely mistaken... It's time to get in. And here's the power of Jetmir. 4 mana and it just completely breaks these huge board stalls. It's early in the morning for me, so still seems like I'm 1 coffee less than what I need to be able to do quick maths, but this has to be lethal. I mean, they're trying to survive, but I don't see how. And you can see this is a great representation of why I really like this deck, especially for best of 1. I think it's good in best of 3 too, but I mean it's not as if this our soldiers opponent didn't do anything, huh? Good lands, good creatures they've played. They even got a big Myrel attack off. we used our Cathar really well. We waited for the right time to play the Jetmir, got in for just enough damage over the course of the game to make our Jetmir attack lethal. So this was a really good game. Opponent didn't get any of their own Cathars, of course, but the thing is, I don't really think it would matter even if they did, right? Because we've got the Malira, we've got our Skrelv, etc. Like, we can protect this Cathar, and that's why we can just abuse its nighttime, daytime ability so well. So yeah, great game. Let's try another. All right, game 3. good mana again. Kind of like game 1, I think it was. Got the start of a good curve, but let's see. Alright, so with a Hajar, with a 3/3 creature, we definitely want to get our training guy down here. This could get up to being a 3/4 over the next couple of turns if we get some attacks off. Recruitment Officer has an ability that costs 4 as well, so it's okay to play that a bit later. Be a good start here. Let's attack, try and get some training. Opponent with the cut down, not able to use it on our Hajar, which is very nice. We get to keep the 3/3 even though they have a removal spell there. Player Officer out, a little bit flooded, but Recruitment Officer is quite good if you're flooded, because you can at least activate it and try and draw some other creatures. Fable. There's Melira. Let's attack. Hajar is discounting the Eiganjo to 2, so if they block, we can Eiganjo the token and play Melira. If they don't block, we might want to activate the Recruitment Officer. I guess no. Let's just play Melira and we'll hold up the Eiganjo actually. Melira is herself a 3/3, so it's pretty hard for them to attack in with the Goblin Shaman. 2 Harvesters discarded, wow. That's good for us. Harvester is a really good creature against us. Are they going to attack? They are. Well, let's start by trying to block. Okay, sure. No need to use the Eiganjo if we don't have to. Brotherhood's End. Okay, so we can use Melira to protect Hajar, or we can use Hajar to protect Melira. I guess we should start with Hajar trying to protect Melira, because they might remove the Melira in response, and then we can use the Melira to protect the officer. The Hajar is not able to protect the officer, so we have to do it in that order. There's a 3rd Harvester. Okay. That'll be why they discarded 2 then. Okay, so we can play Adeline. Adeline discounts the Eiganjo down to 1. If they block, we can use the Eiganjo. If they don't block, we'll cast our Officer. They do block, so let's protect that Melira, because we can use Melira to protect Adeline. Get in for 1 damage as well. Adeline's great because we can sacrifice the token if they have a make this appear. And also Adeline is good because next turn it will be big enough to attack into a Sheoldred if they have one. Okay, a ton of removal from opponent, but we're still on the board. Let's see if we can finish the job. Well, Skrelv could really help with finishing the job. Let's go Skrelv. We want to play our creatures first because they will buffer Adeline. I think we get in with everything. If they want to block our 2 tokens, they're going to be taking 9. Alright. Okay, greedy. Greedy. Let's see if it works out for them. I mean, it's very risky to go to 2 here. Opponent is putting up a fight though, I will say that. Really good draw for them. What else have they got? Another Fable is fine. I would like this trespasser to not be there because we can actually use Skrill for red to get past all of the red creatures. But they would be able to copy trespasser and just block with a copy using the Adeline anyway. So if they copy trespasser, they're going to be on 3 life. And we've got 1 damage essentially. It's going to be hard to push through this last damage. There's not really any way for me to even kill the trespasser this turn using the Adeline, even if I have to give it up. If I attack with both of these and use my Skrill for red, attack with both. They would have to lose the token. Yeah, I think we have to do it this way. They copy trespasser, yep. Go to 3. Then we'll use Skrill. Use Skrill on Malira, maybe, actually. Use Skrill on Malira for black. No, use Skrill on recruitment officer for red, actually. Use it on red. Force one of the trespassers to block this officer. Yeah. Now let's make sure that the goblin shaman dies. Because if I did it another way, they would be able to block the 1/1 token with the goblin shaman token. Now we can sacrifice Malira, use it on the recruitment officer, which will get it back, because they're going to lose this creature anyway, because it's a token, so we don't need to make that trade. And now next turn we can set up to try and use Skrill for black. And they won't have that red token to be able to block whatever we use Skrill on. So basically we've got it to a situation here where they actually can't, on board anyway, they can't actually use their Fable. Because they have to use it as a blocker. Very tricky game. If they copy Trespasser, they're going to 3. There's Cathar. I mean, Cathar is pretty good, huh? Bankbuster is also good, though. Because Bankbuster, they can actually use Trespasser. They can use Fable now. Copy the Trespasser, and they can actually crew the Trespasser with the Bankbuster, and Skrill won't let us past it. But Cathar is really good. Let's take this Kikijiki. I mean, they're on 3. They've got 2 mana available. If I just attack, they have a block, and we've got 2, 3, 4, we have 5 damage. Yeah, I think we just attack with everything. Oh man! Okay, that was. I maybe didn't talk as much as I should have there, but God, that was a complex game, huh? Every point of damage just so difficult to earn, but man, okay, just, but good enough. Okay, man, that last opponent made us work for it, huh? Alright, we've got our top end and we've got some early games, so let's try and fill it in with some mid game and let's see what we can do. Adeline? Couldn't ask for more. Adeline might get to make some tokens as well for our Jetmir. There's Squee. Squee's also nice. Got good mana here too. Can cast everything so far.
Those who get in my way don't overthink things.
So they plus Liliana, huh? So if yeah, I mean you want to discard Squee, but actually if they activate their Harvester to kill one of my creatures, Squee will let us kill Liliana, but Adeline won't. So I think we actually discard Adeline here, as much as it pains me. Yeah, so let's go Squee. We can attack all into Lily. That'll get past the Harvester, this token can go face. Squee still makes a token, so it still sets up our Jetmir turn.
I'll be back with friends.
I almost snapped discarded Squee there, which would have been very, very bad. Melira, huh? Well, Atsushi is a big old creature. It may actually be better to go for the Melira first. Because if we play Jetmir, we don't really have an attack anyway because of the 4 toughness. Our creatures will be 3 or 2 power in the case of the Goblin. Okay, Cathar is nice though. Cathar is nice. So we can Cathar the Atsushi. And this will actually give us a Jetmir Trample turn next turn. Also, we get a training attack off as well. So even if they find a way to get Atsushi back past the Melira. Because we do have Melira to protect Cathar or Jetmir. That'll make Initiate and Melira able to attack into the dragon, because they'll both have 4 power. Okay, so they reanimate the Titan. Trample not going to be too relevant against the 7 toughness, but we still got a big old attack though. They have block, take 11. They lose their token. I lose what? 2 creatures, so we've got another vigilance attack each next turn. Okay, let's get in. Okay, so we want to protect the Cathar, right, with Malira? No, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's just let the damage resolve, and we'll protect our Jetmir with Malira. Because we still do have lethal damage on board here. There's no reason to sacrifice Malira there. Even though they get their dragon back, they still need something else. We've got a lot of lands here too. So we might actually be able to activate our recruitment officer and still have mana left over to even cast something next turn if we don't draw something relevant. Liliana is fine.
No more distractions.
We lose our token, that's still lethal. They need more than that.
Off you go.
What do you have? What have you got? Show me. Okay, nothing yet. Last draw. Okay, let's activate the officer pre-combat. Because if we get a creature, like Jar, this is good because even if they have a removal spell now, we'll still get to keep the vigilance part of Jetmir, because we'll still have 3 creatures left. Let's get in and see if it's enough. Looks like it is. Man, we're squeezing out wins, but there's still wins. Let's keep going. Alright, let's go again. I mean, this is just a crazy hand. On the play as well. Perfect curve. Recruitment officer into 3/3 into... well, 3/3 that can protect Adeline. Even got Iganjo as backup, really good against mono red. We'll kill most of their creatures. We'll kill most of their creatures for 1 if we've got 2 legends in play as well. I mean, sacrificing that Jar does nothing. Except boost my own morale. I feel like I got 1 over on the opponent there, so... Alright, let's see what they've got. Felden is okay, that can't block. Right, so opponent is in huge trouble here. Let's make some tokens with Sockins and pump our Adeline up and get in with everything, and that is a lot of damage. We're still on 14. I'll take 3. Adversary, okay. End the festivities. Strangle. Alright, another like... This one was a little bit cleaner than some of the other ones. Didn't have to work as hard to We got a little bit lucky there that opponent drew a few of their creatures that can't block, and they are just absolutely useless against us. All right, let's try one more, since we're doing so well. Why not? Okay, final boss. Here we go. What do we have here? I mean, we need a third land, but you know, it would feel pretty good if we found one, wouldn't it? Let's try. Start with Skrelv, which can then be used to protect our officer. 2 token makers and Jetmir. I mean, if we can find the lands here, it's going to be so hard for our opponent. If we don't find the lands, it's going to be pretty hard for us. Okay, I think against soldiers we can actually get an attack in with Skrelv here, because unlikely that they have a removal spell this turn. It's normally Cathars, Iganjos, Otawaras. Yeah, there's Denick. We did find a land. Okay. Start off with our own Cathar. Don't want to be attacking into a lifelinker. We'll hold Skrelv back this time for protection. This is when their own Cathars and stuff will start coming out. Yeah, they're passing tonight. Let's start making some tokens. We could play Malira, but I think we've got Jetmir in hand. We want to try and get a lot of creatures into play here if we can. So most likely they're going to flash in the 2 1/1s here, so I guess we hold back the officer. Squee is okay to trade with those because it's already generated a token anyway. If it trades with the Sentinel, sure, we've generated a token as well. Not bad for us. I could use Skrelv there to make Squee can't be blocked by blue creatures to let it get through, but we really want to hold back this Skrelv to protect our Cathar. If our Cathar stays in play, we can kind of try and abuse it like we did in the previous games. So here Jetmir is a massive attack, but they could... seems like opponents playing a more instant speed version of soldiers, so we need to play around counter spells probably. If we play Adeline, that will force out the counter. And if they don't have one, I mean, we're not going to regret it, right? We're going to get to make a token with Adeline, and we're just making the Jetmir turn next turn even better. Like, we're going to have like 10 creatures next turn, right? Okay, maybe not 10, but 8, 9 possible double strike. But yeah, that's Naya Legends. Let's we'll go back to the deck list and we'll talk about how it went. All right, we played quite a few games there. We saw pretty much everything in action. Didn't get the opportunity to use Plaza to protect any of our creatures, but we made good uses of the Iganjos, really good use of the Jetmirs. You saw how you want to use the Jetmir in the deck, right? It's not just like get to 4 mana and cast Jetmir. You want to cast everything else and then the Jetmir, because the longer you hold the Jetmir, the better it becomes when it comes down. Yeah, we never quite made it to 9 creatures, but you're almost never going to make it to 9 creatures anyway, and you saw that you don't need to make it to 9 creatures, right? Like 6 creatures for the +2/+0 Vigilance and Trample is gonna end almost every game immediately. Even the Vigilance is good enough most of the time. Squee and Adeline making the tokens doing really well. You saw that with the Iganjos and the Plazas and the recruitment officers, we can really take advantage of flipping day and night with the Cathars. We used our protection creatures a lot. The Thalia was getting some taxes off, and the extra 1-drops just to get in that first few points of damage, so that when you do finally drop the Jetmir as your Haymaker, as your game ender, that it is enough damage to end the game. Like without these 1-drops, getting in the early chip damage, without your Thalias, without your 3/3s, you probably would need to get to 9 creatures to actually achieve lethal on a lot of boards, but they're really helping it be just enough. You're not... You could play a Jetmir deck where you're trying to attack for 100, right? But you're gonna end up losing a lot of games to not getting enough creatures in play. That's not the goal of this deck. The goal of this deck is not to attack for 100. The goal of this deck is to get your opponent's life total to 0. There's no difference between 0 and -20. We do just enough damage to win almost every game. Well, we did win every game. I've played this deck a lot, so I've not won every game, but it is a great deck. I think it's probably the best non-meta deck that I've played in this standard. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll see you next time.